What's up, guys? Scott doing the Week 15 review and the Week 16 preview. Let's get started. Game 1 on the slate was Snot Rockets versus Team Pussy Pounder. Going into Week 15, Snot Rockets was leading at 112 to 81. Snot Rockets ended up pulling out 2-week victory, 205 to 166. This week, Snot Rockets was led by 22 points from Jamal Charles, 20 from Deshaun Jackson, and 19 from Andre Johnson. Snot Rockets put up 93 points for the week, despite -1 points from Adrian Foster, 1 point from Pierre Gasson, and -1 point from Jay Feely. Pounder was led by 18 points from Tony Romo and 16 from Adrian Peterson, respectively. He did have Jonathan Stewart sitting on his bench with 23 points, Marion Barber with 19, and Rashard Mendenhall with 16. If he would have started those guys, it probably would have been a little bit closer, but it didn't. And with the win, Snot Rockets advanced to the championship game, and with the loss, Pounder falls to the consolation bracket. Game 2 on the slate, Regulators versus Gnome Tosser. Coming into this game, Gnome Tosser was pounding the Regulators 53 to 92. Pretty much all but had it wrapped up, but that wasn't the case with the Regulators putting up 146 points this week to Gnome Tosser's 100. Regulators was led by 37 points from Aaron Rodgers, 26 points from Maurice Jones-Drew, 22 points from Vincent Jackson. All this despite having Joe Flacco sitting on his bench with 25 points also. Good week, Jimmy. I really didn't think you were going to be able to pull it off. Jeff, you did everything that you could have possibly done, with the exception of not starting Ahmad Bradshaw and Mike Sims-Walker, who had 20 and 12 points respectively. But Bradshaw's not a solid player every week, and who would have thought that he would have had a great game last night like he did. With the win, Regulators go to the championship game versus the Snot Rockets for the second year in a row, and with the loss, Gnome Tosser ends up playing Pounders in the consolation match. Game 3 on the slate, Urethral Cyst versus Mary Jane Poppins. No, that's not right. The Cyst versus the Maulers. Coming in, that one was close. It was 115 apiece after Week 14. Week 15 was a lot different. The Cysts end up pulling this one out, 196 to 182. Therefore, advancing to the winner's bracket of the consolation thing, or however you want to say it. Final game of the week, Team Merrill versus Mary Jane Poppins. Damn, what happened to this? Coming into the week, I don't know who was winning. I only have one thing here from last week. I don't know what happened, but damn. Anyways, Merrill ended up pulling out the victory, 187 to 183. Therefore, he advances also to play the Cysts in the winner's bracket of the consolation game. The winner of that will get the first pick in the draft next year, I believe. Okay, with that, now we go off to the playoffs in a rematch of last year's Game 1. Next week will be a rematch of last year's Super Bowl, Team Regulators versus the Snot Rockets. A couple things to keep in mind. He has the Regulators have Aaron Rodgers versus that atrocious Seattle defense, Maurice Jones-Drew versus New England's defense. We all know how good they are. And Vincent Jackson versus Tennessee. Snot Rockets have Kurt Warner versus the Rams if he plays all week. And Andre Johnson, of course, always dangerous versus Miami. My prediction is I'm going to be regulators should be ahead coming into the final week of the season, due to the fact that he's just got guys that have favorable matchups everywhere. Um, Game 2, Pussy Pounder versus Gnome Tosser. Pussy Pounder has Donald Driver versus Seattle. Tom Brady versus Jacksonville. Jonathan Stewart versus the Giants with D'Angelo Williams out. So that's going to be, hopefully he'll finally play him. Gnome Tosser has got very favorable matchups again this week. Larry Fitzgerald versus St. Louis. Cedric Benson versus Kansas City. Phillip Rivers versus the Titans. And Mike Sims Walker versus New England. He should have a good, big game against the Pats. Game 3, Merrill versus the Sis. Merrill's got Miles Austin versus Washington. The Bengals D versus Kansas City. And that's pretty much it for the Sis. Of course, Drew Brees versus Tampa Bay. LaDainian Tomlinson versus Tennessee if he plays all game. And Wes Welker versus Jacksonville. Final game on the slate, and what I like to call the losers bracket, battle of the teams to not get picked on next year for being the worst team in the league and finishing last. Mary Jane Poppins versus the Maulers. Poppins has Schaub versus Miami's defense. Pierre Thomas versus Tampa Bay. Very good favorable matchup right there, especially with Reggie Bush hurt. He's going to get a lot of looks. Greg Jennings versus Seattle, and Frank Gore versus the Lions. Atrocious defense. Maulers, they got a couple favorable matchups here too. They got Aaron Snelling or Jason Snelling versus the Bills. Michael Crabtree versus the Lions. Carson Palmer versus Kansas City. Somebody versus St. Louis. I can't read my handwriting. Oh, the Cardinals defense versus the St. Louis Rams, and Ryan Grant versus Seattle. Like I said, guys, make sure you keep a look at the waiver wires and make sure you do some reading. These teams that are winning, like your Indianapolis's and your Saints, that pretty much have first-round buys wrapped up, their star players probably aren't going to play a full game, so you might want to compensate for that. Good luck this week, guys. Jimmy, great job. I don't know how you pulled it off, but you did. I look forward to kicking your ass again this year. Like I said before, you guys got any questions, concerns, complaints, let me know about it. And I would like to get some feedback. I haven't gotten feedback from you guys, nothing, except for Jeff's correction on my thing last week. I do put a lot of time into this, and I would like to, get a little something in return. Like, maybe you can improve this, or you should do this, or do that. Lick my garbage, eat my grundle, run my pipeline. I'll see most of you guys on Friday? Later, bitches. Bye.